John is here. John Price, everyone. He's back. He's talking about Star Trek. He's obviously a dad now. He has children.
True. That is all correct. That's right.
Man, the whole internet has been telling me for the last 3 hours, like, John's coming, right? Like, I'm not going to watch Shrinking. I'm not going to watch Skeleton Crew because I'm going to listen to, like, John's here. And I'm like, hey, I like Star Trek. And they're like, so what, Larry? Like, where's John?
Tough, man. It's tough. So the girls are 5 months as of 2 days ago.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. And so it's they don't go to sleep very easily. Once they're asleep, they're generally fine for hours and hours and hours. But it takes them anywhere from 5 minutes to like 3 hours to actually get to sleep. Like I literally just got done putting one of them back to sleep like 20 minutes ago. But now she's fine. I'm watching the monitor right there. And she's fine. She'll be fine for the next like 10 hours, but it's just fucking bullshit. I fucking hate it.
When you said that, I just got flashbacks. It's like, yeah, they go to sleep anywhere between 5 minutes and 3 hours. It's like, and the same for you, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And Dr. Science, what's your first officer?
Yeah.
Science officer.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
I always feel like I can't say her name because she doesn't want to be associated with us.
No, she doesn't. I will give her all the credit in the world. When we started dating, I showed her Star Trek 4, the one with the whales, and she did not immediately dump me. So I will give her all the credit in the world. It's good.
You can tell when the girls are like, I'm interested in this guy. I'll listen to his
bullshit.
Yeah.
And she went to GalaxyCon with me, and we met Shatner wearing our Lower Decks.
I remember that. That was a blast, man.
Yeah, that was a good time. We met Shatner. We met Jonathan Frakes had that little shield around him, like a fucking Gates was trying to talk to people, and fucking Jonathan Frakes was a pussy. Anyway, because I wanted to see, because like he's supposed to be like 6'4", right? And I'm supposed to be 6'4", so I wanted to see like who's got the the height,
who's got the better beard,
right?
The whole thing, right? Yeah,
that one, but that's okay.
No, you totally got him. Just on youth alone.
It's getting.
This is getting all old and 70 years old and scraggly. That's
And I don't have any grays whatsoever, so I'm good to go.
Me neither.
That's right. Don't look at anything. Yeah.
Oh man, speaking of Star Trek and Star Trek 4, Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan made it into the first Star Trek historic thing of being in the Library Conference.
Oh, I just saw that. I just saw that headline earlier today. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Fucking yeah, Star Trek 2 is so awesome. Like,
dude, I'm so excited to talk about Star Trek with you. I can't even interrupt you. I'm
what should we
man, tell us about Star Trek Wrath of Khan and how awesome it is.
Wrath of Khan. I have an opinion on Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan, and that is no woman is capable of liking that movie. Because they could like it, right? But like, it is fundamentally a movie about a man's midlife crisis. And male friendship, and like all these like very like male ideas. That's not like a groundbreaking like philosophic tract or anything, but like I just have this thing that like because I've shown it to women, like my mom has seen it, women in my life have seen it, and like they just don't like it. Like they're like, oh yeah, it's a good movie, and like meanwhile I'm like bawling in the corner, like, oh my god, Spock, So, and
it
even like
definitely
the discord of the violin as like Kirk is sliding down the down into engineering, and it's like And it's like, oh, it's so good. It hits you right in the heart. Hits you right in the Dr. Price heart, you know?
The thing about that movie though, it's the most Star Trek of all the Star Trek.
Oh my God, absolutely.
So if you don't, the reason guys like you and me are weeping openly at the end is because it means something to us.
Yeah.
If you're just watching it like, oh, what's up with this movie? Oh, the main character's best friend just sacrificed himself. Oh,
Right.
that in movies all the time. It's
Right.
like, that's not what it means to us.
Right. That's not a 2-hour movie. That's a 30-year movie.
Right.
You know, and it's like, yeah, or 25, whatever fuck it is. It's a, you know, it's a movie that starts in 1966. You know,
I don't think there's another movie series in pop culture where you could do that, because what makes that so cool is I keep forgetting, because you know I was a kid when that movie came out. Rick Aston and I were sitting in there opening day in Rutland, Vermont. He's wearing this handmade shirt that said "Kill Me Not Spock," and we were filled with all the stuff from Merv Griffin that they were talking about. You know, we were ready to go, and people just don't get like what that means. Like I was I was a kid, like Kirk, like Shatner was like 55 or something, right? Like maybe a hair younger, but like a midlife crisis movie makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah,
and the audience is like, you know, half the audience was probably having their midlife crises too, so it was cool to check in with their heroes from when they were in college or whatever, right? So I don't think anyone would care now. I can't think of anything where you'd be like, oh, you know, something that's, because it's only 30 years later. So for us, that's like, do we really need to see like something that was big 30 years ago, like, you know, the OC or like 90210 movie? Like, where are these people now having their midlife crisis? It's just not set up for us to care.
I think of off the top of my head would be something like Logan, right? Where it's like you start with Hugh Jackman, X-Man in like the year 2000, and you get to Logan in like 2020 or whatever it was, you know? Something like that would be good. But I know you're right. Like, I don't give a fuck about, you know, the Saved by the Bell midlife crisis movie. You know what I mean?
I was trying to think of anything from TV. Like Logan completely works because you have the gravitas of the multimedia Hollywood machine behind you, right? But this plucky little dopey show that nobody really cared about because it wasn't Lost in Space. And then everybody wrote letters and said, bring it back, and then had cons and shit. I just don't see that happening for something from the 90s. I don't know.
I mean, if they did like a Sarah Michelle Gellar Buffy midlife crisis movie, I would watch the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Veronica Mars, maybe something like that.
It would have to be something on that level, right? So it's like,
I get it.
But yeah, Star Trek 2 is fantastic. Of course, one of my, you know, it's hard because like obviously Wrath of Khan is like number 1, and I have Undiscovered Country as number 2, right? But a close number 3 is Star Trek 5: The Final Frontier, and I can't get over that movie, man. I love it.
I love that movie. I would put the motion picture at 2 though.
Yeah,
because I love that movie so hard.
Yeah, like, I want to love that movie.
I get how somebody younger than me doesn't.
I want to love that movie, and I can. Don't get me wrong. If you need to, you know, watch a 20-minute montage of just the Enterprise going around in circle around the Enterprise, I'm there. Let's do it. Let's do it all along.
That's what I love about. I don't really. I can't say that I love the movie, but I love the experience of watching the movie.
Yeah,
because they don't make movies like that anymore.
No,
and they kind of didn't at the time. It's like,
no, it's definitely a unique movie.
Robert Wise was like, well, if all the kids like the ship, let's give it a beauty pass, and it's 8 minutes long.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I know you don't fuck with Red Letter Media, but Red Letter Media has a review of like a you know, retrospective review of the motion picture, and it's so awesome because they basically say the exact same. They're like, you can't make a movie like that. Even like the most nerdy of nerd movies, you can't just have 8 minutes of looking at a spaceship. with like this romantic music in the background, like
right.
like
And Kirk and Spock, Kirk and Scotty looking at each other like, oh man, remember all the friggin' tail we got in that ship? Yeah, you're right.
My absolute favorite part of that movie, is when Scotty says something like, it couldn't have been that easy knowing the Admiral, and fucking Shatner just breaks character. He looks at him, he's like, you're right. Yeah, he does that awful Scottish accent, and it's like it's the only moment of levity in the entire movie, and I fucking love it. I love that movie.
I really think that's not even out of character for Kirk.
No, not at all.
We just never saw it.
Yeah,
we just him and Scotty getting drunk. There was like 45 minutes where they're in his cabin. He's just like ripping him because he's mad at Spock, and he's ripping Scotty, and Scotty's crying, laughing because it's not him. It's just that fucking green-blooded dickhead they have to deal with. And oh my God, he's such a great guy. He saved everybody's lives all 5 times, but Jesus, he's a fucking fart smeller.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
McCoy's just over in the corner getting shit-faced, like, I fucking hate that green-blooded son of a bitch.
I would do it the opposite. Like, if Kirk and Scotty are like banging on Spock, McCoy's the guy who's like, "Nah, you gentlemen got him all wrong."
Okay,
like, you know what I mean? You gotta like have the audience just go, "What?" He's like basically spitting in his face every episode, but it's like, no, only I get to make fun of Spock.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. But
that whole brother thing going
just
on.
Like the end of any TOS episode, not the vast majority of TOS episodes end with like a joke, like a Kirk makes a joke on the bridge. It's like, we just lost like 30 people and an entire civilization is destroyed. And Kirk's like, yeah, but how's that coffee? And
it's
like,
true. And every once in a while I'll be looking for an exact quote, and there's a place called Chakotay Net that has transcripts.
Nice.
Like somebody just sat there and watched the episode. So they typed out what they said, not like the shooting script.
Yeah.
So I love it, but when you see it come up, it's not very long. It's like a screen and a half of stuff, and you're like, holy shit, that was a 4-minute episode, and there's basically 120 lines of dialogue.
I love it.
You know what I mean? And it's like that's pretty dense storytelling. But you're right, everything goes out like, you were so worried about his Vulcan eyes, Doctor. You were worried about his Vulcan ears. It's like, oh my God, there was a giant paramecium that almost ate the ship, and Spock was blind for half the episode, and they go out with like, pig's ear, you dickhead.
I just rewatched that episode the other day. I love that episode where the fucking amoeba or whatever is like they have to blind Spock in order to like stop the sting of the amoeba or whatever the fuck it is. Anyway, that's a great episode.
It's just Spock taking another one for the team, which makes Wrath of Khan like so normal. Like of course Spock sacrifices for himself. He's ready to like, okay, I have to run this thing with a shuttle, and I'm going to get really close to it, and the sun is too bright, and I'm going to go blind, but that's just kind of shit I have to do.
Like, it's the logical decision.
That show's so great.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of that, I love Saga Sag. You guys like Star Trek?
I do.
Yeah. Let's talk about Star Trek.
I got the girls a little Moopsie thing for Christmas.
Oh, did you?
It was on sale and I got it. And one was a Moopsie, the other one is a Badgie. So they're the little plush toy. They haven't come. Allegedly, they're en route. So we'll see.
I'm sure, like everything in Star Trek, it'll be this giant clusterfuck.
Oh, I'm sure.
You can give it to him for Valentine's Day or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine.
I'll just backdate the photo. So like, Christmas. Yeah.
What's that?
I'll just backdate the photo and be like, oh yeah, girls, this is what we got for
Christmas. Right. They won't know. You got that for Christmas.
No, they're kids. They don't fucking know. They don't even speak English yet.
I bet they do.
I bet they do.
You just not to you.
They definitely make noises at each other, and it's like they're talking to each other. And I'm like, this is some weird twin shit going on right now.
Yeah, you're gonna get weird twin shit.
We gotta stop that. Like, they're not identical, but they're definitely like starting to recognize each other, and I'm like, I don't like this. There's something going on here. I don't. Feels weird. Feels weird.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like. Yeah.
That's
Like now she's fucking moving, and I'm like, are you waking up or are you just moving? I don't know.
yeah.
Sucks.
Kids. Did you yeah, mine's going to film school. You caught that
Dude,
one, right?
what's that about?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
How's
cool though.
What's that doing?
It's awesome. I'm gonna miss him when he's gone, but I'll just text him 50 times a day and
Yeah.
just pay one of his friends to like just live stream what he's doing.
Yeah. You'll just watch his movies when they get released. That's all. You know, no big deal.
Yeah, I told him like yeah, my screen used stuff is really gonna go up. My screen used prop collection.
That's right.
It's just gonna be focused on directed by Walker Young movies. That's all.
You're gonna have the whole wing of Walker Young wing. You know?
He says he's got this great moon story thing with a particular thing that's never been seen in a science fiction thing. So I hesitate to even say it out loud.
Yeah, no, secrets.
But he'll just walk by me and goes, you know, you're getting the hero one of that thing. I'm like, where am I going to keep it? He goes, that's your problem. I'm like, all right.
Man.
Hey, so have you been watching new Star Trek?
Have I been watching new Star Trek?
Well, the stuff that is being produced now is Lower Decks. So have you been watching all that?
So yeah, I am like 3/4 through the last episode that they aired.
Oh, but you're up to date? You just not the last one?
So they just landed the Defiant onto that planet in the multiverse.
Oh, that's cool.
That's where I am right now. And
I was going to ask you, like, because you don't come to that comic book multiverse stuff as easily as people like me that have just been saga reading that.
No,
shit
but
all the time.
they're doing. So again, as Lower Decks, Boimler, like I am Boimler in Lower Decks, right? So I'm the guy. I hate the multiverse.
You totally are,
right?
That's what's making me laugh.
I just want to go explore stuff. I don't want to do this shit, right? But they're doing this really smart thing, like they've done this multiple times in Lower Decks, where they're actually making. I think they're making this smart commentary on like, hey, new Star Trek isn't liked by a lot of people, but that's okay because you still have the Boimler Star Trek, you know, on this side, you know. And so like they're doing like, you know, what's her face? Lily Sloan just showed up, right? And they're doing like the whole thing. Why can't I think of words? I don't know.
That Starbase 80 episode was great. I thought of you the whole time. I was like,
oh, I got a shirt. I got a Starbase 80 shirt. Yeah.
You're Mr. Starbase 80. So I was like, oh my God, what a great reveal that it's not the shittiest thing in Starfleet. It's neglected.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you know, the theme of Lower Decks anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that made me love Starbase 80.
Yeah.
And then we got all that cool stuff, like all the different. So can I just tell you, well, one of the things that I was sad about that I wasn't able to do a Dork Trek with you is because you're the only person on this planet that will get what this means to me. But when they had Starbase 80 and everybody's got a different uniform and they're all mix and match and the insignias and stuff, and I was fucking going crazy. I was like, yes, there's that thing from that episode. There's that thing. I love it. And then they showed, I forget exactly what it was, but it was like they showed an old TOS shirt and they held it up, and I was kind of sitting in my living room and I was kind of not really paying attention. And I look and I was like, fucking what insignia is on there? And I like stopped. I went over to my giant TV and I looked, and those motherfuckers, it's a phaser shot where the insignia should be.
That's
so they actually knew there was going to be people like me going, well, if that's an Enterprise insignia, that opens up a can of worms. But if it's anything else, they have to listen to John Cooley and his people.
That's amazing.
And they just made a giant hole in this shirt. And I was like,
that's awesome.
All right, that's fucking great.
It's such good. It's like they're so good at making Star Trek.
I'm just gonna miss that show so bad.
And I know people give it a lot of criticism, like, oh, it's just making a parody of Star Trek. It's definitely not. Like, it's definitely not like on the same level of like watching a TNG episode, but it's like a show within Star Trek. Like, it's people who understand Star Trek making a cartoon. Like, and it's awesome.
I honestly think that is 100% Star Trek. I think it's actually better than some of the serious Star Treks because the conceit is these are all the scrubs in the lower decks.
Yeah.
They're not going to be serious people that go, oh, you have to blind me. They're going to be like, no, you take this one.
Yeah.
Bridge crew, you know?
Yeah.
And so, of course, those people are going to be funny. The situations they're in are ridiculous. Yeah. So they're just going to comment on it and not go, oh, I'm very respectful of the fact that you wear, you know, tassels on your bicycle or whatever.
Right.
You know, no, they're the guys that like, you look like a stripper. And then that's the episode, you know, the misunderstanding or whatever.
No, I'm
totally really going to miss that show.
And like, I totally understand, like, a lot of the reaction is like, oh, Starfleet is supposed to be the best of the best of the best, sir. You know? But
great. Not these guys.
But that's
like, buy into the premise, man.
But that's like part of the TNG problem as well, where it's like it got to the, you know, and like Ron D. Moore has talked about this in interviews where he's like, the problem writing on TNG, it got so suffocated at the end. Like even the barber had to be the best barber in Starfleet, you know, and it's like, can't write people doing cool things, and that's what Lower Decks has finally cracked, right? You know, DS9's too melodramatic. Voyager was wannabe TNG, right? But like Lower Decks has finally cracked the whole, hey, it's just normal people join Starfleet, and Starfleet is full of crazy shit that goes on, right? You know, and like, no matter if you're the best of the best, you're gonna get into some crazy shit, you know, and you know, you got to get your way out of it.
But that's the thing that's missing from modern Star Trek, because old Star Trek was like that. Like there's fucking green energy hand holding the ship. You know, there's fucking space rocks talking to us. It's all ridiculous, but it's awesome.
Old, like the original series is not the best of the best of the best. It's people figuring out weird shit, like just going out and getting weird shit, right? And so it's like, I think you're absolutely right. It's like Lower Decks is much more in that vein, where again, it's just, you know, you've got weird, funny people doing weird, funny stuff.
And just that's what I love about the crossover episode.
Yeah,
because it made you see that Strange New Worlds could support those kind of episodes.
Yes, yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's like, so I would love a live action Lower Decks, or just have like fucking one of the guys from Lower Decks just show up in just walk by in a regular uniform.
Yeah,
don't even make him CG. I don't care. Like do Shax, you know. I don't care.
Yes, yeah,
but it's because what you said earlier in this, that Star Trek can kind of get funny. You know, they ended it with a joke sometimes.
Star Trek, this is funny.
Yeah,
you know, not like sitcom funny, not like, you know, laugh track funny, but you know, they're fun. Like Spock is hilarious. Spock is a hilarious guy. Like he's always making jokes.
Oh my god!
You know, and he's smart enough and human enough to know that he's making a joke. Right? Vulcans are boring; they don't make jokes. But Spock has that human little fucking Rodney Dangerfield in him, and he's like, yeah, let's, you know, yeah, you are a prick, McCoy. You know, whatever.
Yeah. When I was a boy, I fucking loved every time Spock said something and he lifted his eyebrow.
Yeah.
You got like, that was just, I don't understand how he didn't get 15 Emmys, because that he's pulling the audience in and going, hey, you get what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah.
These guys don't.
Yeah.
And that's why he got all the fan mail.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, because Leonard Nimoy was in on and let you be in on a joke that everybody else did, and that he had to relate to, wasn't really sure what was going on. I know Kirk and McCoy probably did, and Scotty probably was like, this fucking laugh a minute guy here we got. But you know, the rest of the crew was afraid of Spock, you know, because you make him some soup and he'd fucking throw it at you. You know, and then 5 yeomen in the hallway saw that and went, fucking Spock, man. He looks like the devil. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, like Kirk is like he's the action hero, right? And McCoy is like supposed to be like the old frontier doctor. But yeah, Spock was funnily enough, Spock was he was the comic relief in a lot of those episodes. So not intentional though. Again, not laugh track funny, but like actual like dialogue funny.
I mean, that's what I meant about them supporting that in the crossover episode because Spock was totally in on Boimler just like fanboying at him.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, yeah, live long and prosper, man. I got you."
Right.
Oh, that was great. Like Ethan Peck's really rocking.
Yeah, that was probably the best he's been as Spock.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't particularly like him or Strange New Worlds, but that's a whole other.
Yeah, I know. I
can't get over it. I can't get over it. I just can't. If that's
There's a lot.
My issue. That's my issue. I understand.
No, I'm with you though. There's a lot of weak sauce, and like I agree with you, but I come to a different conclusion. I didn't like Ethan Peck at first because they weren't writing him as Spock, and he didn't look like Spock, and he had no Spock mannerisms, and it was a choice, but it was a wrong one. You're playing fucking Sherlock Holmes, man. Put the deerstalker hat on and have the pipe, because otherwise you just look like a British guy.
Yeah.
So like Spock with not combing his hair and his beard and fucking crying about shit. That's not Spock. I get where you're going, and it was weird, the whole soft launch and Discovery that they said they weren't going to do. Like, I really have a feeling if they didn't have Pike cooking in his quarters, that's the only thing in the first episode of Strange New Worlds that kind of sat wrong with me. I was like,
a bit much.
I get the like, I don't want to be captain, and my girlfriend here is telling me. I get all that because you have to go somewhere, right? And so cleaning up your shit, but it's the exact same thing they did to Spock. So it's like I give him a pass on that because it just looked like they took Anson Mount from Hell on Wheels and just said, "Hey man, take a shower and shave that shit off and put on this gold shirt because you're in a different show now." And so because he came in on a horse and everything, it was like it was like not a lot of imagination. It's like, hey, remember everybody loved him in that last show? Just have him do that, but it's the future. Okay.
I mean, I love Anson Mount, and obviously there's only like 2 or 3 things, prerequisite for Pike, and we know he loves horses. We love anyway. But I don't know. I just can't. There's just too much. There's too much in Strange New Worlds I can't agree with. But anyway, it's fine. Yeah,
my thing with that show though is that there's only 8 episodes or whatever.
Yeah,
and like 2 or 3 of them are kind of average.
Yeah,
and that's what drives me insane. It's like, you guys don't understand. If you're gonna do Star Trek, like the bar is Star Trek high, right?
Right.
So you have to do Star Trek every time, or everybody's gonna go, you're lame.
Yeah, like you can't do filler. And Discovery did this too, where they would have like filler episodes, and it's like, no, if you want to do 20 plus episodes a year, yeah, you can have filler episodes. If you're doing like 8 to 10, maybe 13 episodes, like, no, bro. Like,
I totally know what they're thinking. It's like the 2026 episode one, you get a couple of fillers just because you can't do high quality unless you're second season Star Trek. But then it's like, it's almost good because it gives the audience a little thing where you can have those experimental episodes. You can have a story where it doesn't seem to work. Just have everybody in a conference room trapped in an elevator or whatever. You can do those. And if they don't work, it's okay because there's a big thing coming next week.
Right.
Or there was a grand thing last week. I mean, Next Gen kind of did that. Like after the Best of Both Worlds, they did the cool thing, Brothers. With his brother in the vineyard, right? Or family or whatever.
Yeah. The next episode is called Brothers. I know it's tricky.
Right.
Yeah.
So after that, you had to, after this giant Borg war, there's a thing where it's like, let's talk about wine and our family problems.
Yeah.
It's not, it's nobody, it's
Patrick Stewart crying covered in mud.
Yeah. It's nobody's favorite episode, right?
It's a good one.
But at the time, you kind of went, oh, I'm glad there's there's ramifications for that crazy shit we just saw. You know?
You can't keep ratchet. And this again, Discovery has this problem too, where they keep having to ratchet up the problems. It's like, no, just and remember, I'm sure everyone watching remembers that Michael Chabon put out like this thing for Picard, and he was like, well, what did you want us to do? Want us to write just a little story about Picard, like solving mysteries in Paris? And we're like, yeah,
yes,
that's exactly what we wanted. Yep, yep, like that's exactly what we wanted. We didn't want the 90-year-old Picard like jumping upstairs and shit, like like fucking have him solve mysteries like a fucking Picard. Anyway,
my thing is, I just wanted it to matter, and none of Discovery matters, just internally even. Like, here's a whole story for a season with some kind of crazy AI thing. Doesn't matter. Never mentioned again.
Yeah.
Here they go into fucking 3300. Oh, that's going to be fucking bananas. No, it's the same show.
Same show.
Like 1,000 years later.
Yeah.
All right. And now we get 1,000 years later Starfleet Academy. I don't know.
Oh, the Section 31 bullshit. I mean, I missed that whole like online discussion when that happened like a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. Boy, that was just dog shit. That was
just the reception of the trailer.
Yeah, that's a big old pile of dog shit right there.
Oh my god! I wish the entire planet could have seen what my kid did in our living room. He's just staring at the TV, going, "What's the point?" He just kept saying that like he was on shrooms.
That's hilarious.
What's the point? I don't. What are they doing? That's not Star Trek. I'm like, I know, man. I don't know what to tell
I don't understand.
At least it's 2 hours and not a whole fucking show we have to keep track of.
That's true. I don't understand the aesthetic, the Kurtzman aesthetic, right? And they've done this in multiple shows now, where it's like this dark, dingy, like shiny, kind of like, the Kurtzman aesthetic, and I don't understand it because who does that appeal to?
Yeah, they're definitely
anybody.
They definitely are doing a thing, and I don't get it. Are they just trying to? They're trying to say that this is the future, so it looks different than things, and everybody's mildly uncomfortable because it all looks like it was designed by Apple, and
but like a shitty Apple, like a people Apple, yeah.
the thing that I kind of don't mind for the ship interiors and stuff, because whatever, right?
Sure.
But whenever they have like human interaction, like I forget what this was. I noticed it in the musical episode because I hate musicals, so I'm looking for something to like, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna like the Nurse Chapel stuff because she's dreamy, and she was actually a pretty good singer, but her entire thing was in the bar. I guess they have a 10-4 kind of thing in the. I don't know what they call it, but there's a couple good scenes, like Kirk and Spock sit down and meet for the first time, and there's good scenes in there. I get why you would have a thing like that. It's a cool place to have characters interact without threat, or if there is some kind of conflict, it's an interpersonal one. So I get all of that. Except it doesn't look like a fucking bar that you want to sit down and hang out in. And they do it seamlessly in Lower Decks where they have to draw it. And it's like, you know what I mean? And it's like the whole, like you were talking about the Kurtzman aesthetic. I'm totally stealing that on you because that's an awesome way to shorthand the nonsense.
Yeah.
That they just flipped up the ornate and showy thing, the ostentatiousness for some reason. But like on a ship, man, if you want characters talking to each other about something that advances the plot or shows some character point or some kind of cool thing, all you need are a desk and some chairs and the windows to tell you you're in space.
Right.
That's all you fucking need. Yeah. And then cool shit happens because an actor goes, I can't fucking keep sitting down here because I hurt my back when I was a kid. And so he flips his leg over it, and then it's a thing forever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but that's a thing that the actors do, right? So let the actors act, and you can't act when there's like Eagle Moss stuff all over the place, like it's yours and my living room put together, and like Stoli bottles and weird shit from Chechnya, and like guys like me are like, yeah, that's a Smirnoff bottle from 1985. I bought one because I saw the ad and now they're $300. But like that doesn't look like a set. It doesn't look like
No.
something that you buy into and suspend your disbelief. It just looks like a whole bunch of people trying really hard.
Yeah, but it's just so, yeah, it's very frustrating. And of course we've all talked about that.
Look at this. That's Tim Connolly like trying to. That's the bar on the moon in Astronauts in Trouble.
Oh yeah, nice.
Can I tell a story about cool Eds? This is great. In college, we had this friend named Ed Broder, and we knew a couple of Eds. So we just did a thing like, oh, there's Fat Mike, there's Little Mike, there's Stupid Ed. He was cool Ed. Ed was cool, and so we decided in the future he would just be Frank Sinatra. And so
nice.
Cool Ed, we have a picture of Ed. He was a crooner, and he autographed it and went, "Hey, this bar is cool, Ed." And so people in college, they come up to him and go, "Hey man, I got a new shirt. Is this cool?" And he go, "Yeah, that's cool." And everybody go, "Cool Ed said it was cool, man." So it's true. I'm like, if you're gonna have a bar on the moon, it's gotta be cool. Cool Ed.
Yeah, Cool Eds. Cool. We did a similar thing. We had a lot of Brians, and there was one who he was a Chinese American man. And so we just called him Chinese Brian. And finally, after months of this, he finally came. He's like, "Hey guys, can you not call me that?" Yeah. And we're like, "Okay, cool. What do you want to be called?" And he's like, "I don't know, like Crazy Brian." I'm like, "All right, cool. We'll call you Crazy Brian."
Well, that's cool. He was working with you. They both started with C's, so he was working with.
He was like this mild-mannered little engineering student who like never did anything. Well, yeah, man, you're Crazy Brian. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Chinese is implied, I guess, lads, right?
Oh, it was a different time. It was a different time. The Chinese is implied.
I love Philbo's going, yeah, the sets look ugly, but not in the ugly is beautiful in a Blade Runner way.
Yes.
Can I tell you? Oh my God, man. There's this thing kicking around called the White Dragon Cut version 5. And some hero in Japan just collected all of the extant stuff from all the various places and upscaled it to 4K and made this giant 3-hour-long supercut of Blade Runner. So whatever scene that you're into, it's in its chronological thing. The conceit is that he made the third draft shooting script. So like there's whole scenes with Holden, the guy that. Here's the one thing. I could talk all forever, but it's Star Trek. But this is one thing. The guy who gives Leon the first Voight Kampf test and he shoots him? The other Blade Runner. There's a guy who's like, why aren't you helping, Leon? Anyway. Leon shoots.
I saw it, but I haven't seen him.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, they shot that 3 or 4 times and they used Leon's answers later in the movie. When Harrison Ford is giving him the same test, the original shot was with Holden, but they used it where he's talking to Harrison Ford. I don't know. I didn't know that. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Blade Runner has been put in the congressional. What is it? The National Registry of fucking badass movies.
Registry, something like that.
Yeah, but now Blade Runner, it's been there, but now welcomes its good friend Wrath of Khan.
Star Trek.
I'm very psyched about that.
1982.
So it just gives Star Trek some legitimacy,
an interesting point about
art
is so it's supposed to be Kirk's 49th birthday. That was the Robert Meyer or not Robert Meyer, Nicholas Meyer kind of thing. It's like this is his 49th birthday, right? It's not his 50th birthday that everyone's gonna be all happy about, right? It's just some random shitty birthday.
Yeah, random birthday.
When he's 49, he's stuck behind a desk, right? And that makes perfect sense because, as we all know, Kirk was born in 2233, right? And so,
as we all know,
Wrath of Khan takes place in 2282, right? So that would be 39 years, right? 49 years. They've retconned it because they need those 3 movies to line up the way they shot them, and they take numbers very literally now in Star Trek. So they retconned it. So now it's Kirk's 52nd birthday. Because they have to put the one with the whales, they have to put that in 2286.
Okay.
So they have
Why though?
backwards because it's 300 years or whatever it is.
Huh.
Yeah, it's very stupid. The whole thing's very stupid. It's 2282, as we all know, and it's Kirk's 40th birthday.
I don't, as a Star Trek fan, like I'm in for the narrative. So it doesn't matter to me at all if he's 49 or 52.
Well,
Right? Because as long as I'm with you, like as long as it's not a milestone birthday, right?
right.
It's just like here's some fucking booze and
Yeah.
here's some glasses because you're allergic to rednecks.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just your oldest buddy. And maybe Spock would have been shown up, but he's doing some other thing.
Yeah.
You know, like of course, a 50th birthday, like Sulu's gonna show up.
Right. You got your whole party. You know, your estranged kids are gonna show up, you know, things like that.
If they haven't been killed.
Yeah. If they stabbed in the back by a Klingon.
Klingon bastards. Man, you don't know, speaking of that scene, you don't know how many times I will just randomly say to somebody in this house, Romulan ale. Just like that. And they just go, okay, whatever. It's Romulan ale. You have to say it like that. You know?
You got to say it like that. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for Star Trek.
I
can't wait for Thursday. This is going to be amazing.
What's Thursday?
That's the second part of Lower Decks. That's
the finale. Yeah,
series finale.
Yeah,
and we've been promised that we're all going to be weeping openly. By Mike McMahon.
Yeah,
unless he kills everybody and says I'm never doing anything in Star Trek again.
Well, it's interesting.
I'm not going to cry.
It's interesting. And I remember the part that struck me was so they're doing this multiverse episode, right? And they find Lily Sloan in the prison, and they're talking to Lily Sloan, and they're like, yeah, man, like exploring other worlds is cool, but like, isn't it also cool to like explore yourself? And like, you know, we have our version of exploration, you have your version of exploration, and that is so fucking meta. I mean, that's literally Mike McMahon being like, yeah, dude, like I don't like New Trek either, but you know, they pay the bills, so some people like New Trek.
Yeah.
On the Lily Sloan team, some people are on the Boimler team, you know. It's, you know, do what you got to do, you know. That's what I love, and they've done that a couple times in Lower Decks, where they've made that sort of same issue where it's like when Boimler goes on the Titan and he starts getting all the like cool missions, and he's like, "What are you guys doing? I just joined Starfleet to explore," and they're like, "No, look at these cool shades," you know, that sort of thing. That was a fun episode. But yeah, so they're really good. I think Mike McMahon is on our team. But he has to pay the bills, and he understands, and he's not dogmatic about it like we are.
We really are.
we really are, yeah. And so he's like, yeah, like, you know, some people like, you know, that's cool, you know. Meanwhile, you and I are like, kill the heathens.
I'm dogmatic about it. I'm very strict of. You know, like this Section 31 thing, I'm just against it because it's atonal for the Federation.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of something like that? Like, who are you trying to? And I actually at GalaxyCon in where we are, I actually spoke to one of the guys who was working on the writing staff for Section 31. He's the one who told me that they changed it from a series to a movie like the week before it got announced or whatever. And so like he was saying, he's like, yeah, man, like I don't like New Trek either, but like they're trying to make us do this. We tried the best we could to put this in here and this in here, and I'm like, I don't know about that, but like, you know, he was just saying, he's like, yeah, like you know, Section 31 is cool because you get to do this and you get to do that. And I'm like, you guys are kind of missing the point.
Who cares?
Like,
you get to do that. We don't want that.
Yeah. And like, I don't feel bad for him. He's just doing his job, right? But like, and to his credit, he was like, yeah, I don't like Discovery either. So I'm trying to put, you know, this in there, and I'm trying to put that in there, and I'm trying to do this and that. And I don't know how fucking, you know, high up the ladder he was. Probably not that high up the ladder, but still. And it's just like, A, who gives a shit about a Section 31 movie? And B, even if you're gonna do a Section 31 movie, it can't look like that.
Right. I mean, I would totally get it if they did this
film, you know?
If they did a badass spy thing where there are Starfleet guys that are fucked because something has gone wrong, okay, I totally get it. Section 31 has to do some kind of fucking Mission Impossible thing to get the guys out.
Movie. Like, that's what
I totally get that. But like intrigue and duplicity and stabbing and murdering people and shit and giving it all to like somebody from another universe, none of it makes any sense.
And like everybody loves Michelle Yeoh, and like I like Michelle Yeoh, but like the way they have her play her character, and they did it in Discovery, and now they're doing it here. It's like she's like a 1930s like villain, like she's like I am she's friggin' Chaotica up there. She's like I'm the.
She really is.
It's like, what are you doing, bro? Like what?
Chaotica. She really is.
Anyway, that's enough about that trash.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to some Star Trek again. I'm dismayed to hear that they have people working on it because I've heard a couple. I don't even want to say who I talked to, but like I've heard from a couple of guys in the production that are like, yeah, what are you gonna do? But like that's my job to
right.
This is Star Trek now, and I'm like,
right.
Well, how can we change that? Because like, why do those people get to say, let's do this nonsense? Right. Because it's literally like, hey, we're going to do a movie about MASH, and we're just going to focus on the motor pool. And I know it's Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, but these are the guys we want to talk. That's what they're doing. It's like, come on, man, do some stuff.
It's a MASH movie set in the motor pool in the desert during a hurricane. And I'm like, what?
Right. And everybody's got new uniforms for
right.
No American flags anywhere.
Uses like swords and shit,
Wow, it sounds like some Walker would come up with.
Dude, I would fucking watch that movie.
Man, you don't even know about Cutler's group. He's just going off.
Can't wait.
Going off. He did a whole thing today on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hat was amazing. I really appreciate it, man. That was cool.
Love it.
Thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, of course. I've been trying to get ever since this guy, hello Gus.
Aww.
Since he ate my Cutler Group hat, I've been trying to find a way to replace it for everybody. But I finally got inspired to do that, and I thought the Black Diamond was a nice touch.
That was great. We ended up reading about Third Corps and everything, and because Walker was like, "Is that real?" I'm like,
the Third Corps is just kind of I think he put that on there. I don't think I requested that. But just the whole Black Diamond thing.
It was great.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah,
and that's because I wrote a comic book called Black Diamond, right?
That was.
You said Robert Meyer, so it made me think of Robert Meyer Burnett.
Yeah.
And every time he talks on his podcast, he always contextualizes for everybody, which is hilarious. Except I don't really. I mean, he must be getting new guys in that need the context, but it's like, no, we don't have to like see Martha Wayne's pearls on the sidewalk every time.
That's funny.
So anyway,
but yeah. And Civil War is interesting because I always have to teach about the Civil War. I usually do it like in December is usually when I do it. So I always get like weird like Civil War related like ads in my algorithm, whatever. So it just popped up and it was cool and I liked it. I actually requested because I talked to the guy on the phone, right? So fun fact, when you buy
this is BB's favorite part,
especially from this specific company, they. And you customize it, right? You can get like generic, like, 1st New Jersey Brigade, you can get stuff like that, right? But if you customize it, he calls you and he's like, hey man, so what is this thing about? Because they've had like weirdos try to buy like official, like, hey, we're a Nazi group, we need cool Civil War outfit type thing.
Oh my god.
Like neo-Confederates and Nazis and shit like that. And
you just wanted to make sure Cutler Group was cool, right?
So yeah, and I'm like, it's cool. I'm a teacher, we're we all got mentored under this guy named Cutler, so we just joke around about it. That was the story. Anyway. It's I didn't want to be like,
Dude.
yeah, it's a bunch of retired guys in San Francisco.
Right, because that doesn't allay his fears.
Yeah.
We could be crazy
But
people too.
and then I asked, I'm like, hey, like I know this comes as like the hunter horn, the bugle, but that kind of looks like a pussy emblem. So what if we did like the cavalry like swords? And he's like, honestly, it doesn't look great. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, he tried, right?
He's
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah. He's like, yeah, because it's like, I don't know if you can tell, it's like thick, like,
yeah, that embroidery is crazy good. Yeah.
Awesome. And he's like, honestly, the way the embroidery works, like the cavalry stuff looks cool, but it just doesn't like hold up well. I'm like, whatever, fuck it.
No, it's its own thing, so that makes it cool.
I love it. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think we're getting kind of a normal stopping point here.
We're getting
delirious. But I cannot thank you enough for talking some Star Trek with us.
Yeah, no, it's look, it's tough. It was a tough few months there. And now that they're, like I said, they're 5 months old now. So I mean, I'm up until like 1 or 2 in the morning every day. Here monitoring just to make sure everything's fine. And then so hopefully, can do this again sometime in the relative near future.
Well, thank the science officer and your lower decks crew for sleeping.
Yeah.
Do you make the twins sleep in the hallway like real lower decks? I remember the bassinet used to just follow us around. Dude. Like, where are we sleeping tonight? On the couch? Okay, here we go.
Dude, I hated the bassinet.
Baby's right there.
My God bless the science officer. She bought like the best bassinet, and like they fucking hated it. They could not sleep in it. They just screamed. Finally, we're just like, fuck it. But they like cribs, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah. Build cribs.
At least he didn't put him in like Gus's bed or something.
Yeah, right. Fucking asshole. He's very jealous of all the attention he doesn't get anymore. Yeah. So anytime the girls are going off on something, Gus also has to go off on something, and usually it's he wants to go outside, and I'm like, God damn it, dude, not now! Like, can you stop? And then he goes outside and he starts barking, which pisses the wife off, and so I'm like, God damn it, just let him bark. Who cares? Anyway, it's a whole thing,
and that's why Star Trek is better than drugs,
and that's why Star Trek is cheaper than drugs. Yeah, so I'm here stuck at Starbase whatever
81
right
80.5
Gemini base over here, and
that's cool. Gemini base, I like that because they're twins, right?
Yeah.
I like it. Dude, that's a great name.
That is a great name.
You just pop that off because that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty creative sometimes.
Oh man, I can't joke. You really are.
In the comments, I can't see the comments because I'm on my phone.
Just Sag saying you like Star Trek. Cool. Return of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. when we were talking about shows that need to come back. You said that was 2 episodes.
Well, we gotta get this audience fucking asking some fucking questions, man. Like, I want to answer some questions next time.
I think everybody was just like, fucking John's back. That's awesome. And even if it's, every twice a month or something, or some event-based thing, it's still cool, man. People want to hear what you have to say about Star Trek.
Yeah, eventually I'm going to have to sleep. So
I didn't bring it up, but you said you're up until 1 or 2 and you still have to get up in the morning for work.
Yeah.
That's a rough one, man.
It's not great.
Yeah.
I don't have the greatest classes this year, just in terms of personnel, and I snapped at one of them the other day. I was like, guys, we were supposed to be doing a review for our test for our exam, and I was just like, guys, they wouldn't stop talking. I'm like, guys, I had 3 hours of sleep last night. I really don't care if you pass this test or not. Like, this is your like, I can just stand here, like, and I will just take a nap real quick. Like,
did they have an ounce of sympathy for you, or they're just like,
no?
Oh, can I have an extra day to do this?
No, I'm getting emails as we speak, kids wanting me to update their grades, and I'm like, no, just go away. Go away.
Hey man, I'm on Star Trek.
That's right. Hey man,
Dork Trek.
I'm off duty. All right, I clocked out. All right.
That's
Second
awesome.
of all, leave me the fuck alone. I hate you.
Well,
And on
on
that,
that happy note, those are AP students too, right?
oh my god, dude.
Man, that's the part I don't get.
It's the advanced students that piss me off the most. Like, I don't really have any expectations for the regular level students, and they're funny. Regular level students are hilarious.
Okay.
The advanced students are sometimes funny, oftentimes not. Oftentimes they're just whiny.
Those
Um,
two little bastards.
so yeah. So and yeah, it's just it drives me nuts, man. And like an idiot, I took on an extra class this year for extra money. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like burning at every end of my dick. Like it's bad. Whatever that phrase is, whatever that it goes.
I like yours better.
Um, so
Burning the candles at both ends.
burning the can. That's right. The burning the oil.
But that just made me think you had a two-headed dick that was on fire as well, and it's just everything's on fire. It's just I can't sleep. That was awesome.
We got to get professional comedian Nancy Sen on fucking serious Star Trek Dork Court. That's what we got to get.
I would love to talk to her about Star Trek because between her and Strang, like I can't believe they're friends with us.
I know.
They have like active disdain for Star Trek.
You know, roundtable discussion, you know. I shouldn't say this part out loud, but you know, theoretically, Nancy and I may have similar access to Paramount. And so so it's always funny to see, like, you know, Star Trek, Big Brother, Star Trek.
I totally could have predicted that. Like, Star Trek, Big Brother.
Yeah. Tulsa King, four reality shows in a row.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder if we could arrange that. I did get, you know, Shaneman and Nancy and Brad Moss to replace or to stand in for you in my last book. So that would be cool if we could somehow get all of those guys to just talk at the same time about anything.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even have to be Star Trek. Just anything. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks for the science officer. Thank the science officer for letting you do this. And
she doesn't know she's doing it.
I know. I mean, I'm just taking the time. That's even better. Like, thanks for like getting away with this instead of something else. You know.
Thank you for the girls for not waking up. That's really
that worked out.
Crying, man. I'm gonna be brutally. Look, all right, okay. Being a dad's cool, right? All you potential fathers out there, all right. You got to get through the crying, okay?
Yeah.
You're gonna hate every second of it, but eventually, people say it stops.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I didn't handle crying very well.
I am not
nonstop crying is not something men like to deal with. But I don't even think you can do a gender roulette thing. I don't think Mimi liked dealing with it that much either. But I was not a help. You know, I could not get my son soothed, and she could.
Yeah.
So sorry, that's your job. You know, I'll go dig a ditch if you want. There's no crying and ditch digging.
She doesn't like to either. She doesn't. You know, it's not like she loves doing this, and I hate doing this. We both hate it.
No, I totally get it, man.
But I am much less good at hiding the fact that I hate it, and so it gets me in trouble a lot. And I'm convinced that the first words my girls will say out loud is "Move the fucking car, you twat."
Well,
yeah.
I hope that for you. That's a lovely and beautiful memory that's coming. All right.
Well, I gotta say this real quick. There was a lot of consternation online about the Garrick Bashir loving each thing. There was a lot of people bitching about that online. And then I watched the episode, and it's a fucking hologram in a multiverse. Like, you fucking This is
What's
why
the problem?
This is why I tell people you have to be an informed hater. Because if you're not an informed hater, you're just a fucking moron.
You
right?
just sound stupid. Yeah.
Play yourself. You just look like a fucking idiot, right? And I'm like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Of course, it's a fuck. Like, who the fuck cares? First of all, who cares? It's a multiverse. Two, you just played yourself on fucking Twitter for fucking days and days and days, bitching about how, oh, new Trek, everything's got to be gay in new Trek. I'm like, bro, it's a anyway. I just had to get that off my chest. All right.
Okay. I'm with you. It was like, hey man, there's no difference between that and like them going, hey, it's the purple D. You know,
right.
like what's the big fucking deal?
Right.
They didn't paint Enterprise purple.
This is hilarious. That's a hilarious joke. If you know a Voyager, that's a hilarious joke, right? So fuck them. Fuck these people. I don't give
All right. Agreed.
All right, guys.
We'll table that until next time. Thanks so much, John. That was
when in
great.
doubt, kill a Confederate. And tell him the Cutler Group sent you.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.